At this time, we'll call the City of Menasha Common Council meeting back to order. We are now on item M, the Common Council appointments. There are three: the Neenah Menasha Fire Rescue Joint Finance and Personnel Committee. The Council President and the Personnel Committee Chair are the normal appointments. If they were both the same person, we would look for a different second person, seeing that they're both different people. Unless there is action from the Common Council, we would appoint the Common Council President and the Personnel Committee Chair. Seeing no action, we'll move on that direction. The Information Systems Steering Committee Chairman is typically the Administration Committee Chair. If we have no other action, we would appoint that person as the IT Steering Committee Chairman. See anyone else? The Ad Hoc Protocol Committee, we have had a request to review the council rules and have a committee that would do that. I'm proposing that we would choose 4 aldermen and the mayor to bring forth a recommendation to the Common Council. At this time, I think the easiest way would to be nominating Alderman 1, and then once we finish that, we'll Alderman 2, and so on and so forth. So if we could have nominations for the first alderman position in that committee. Alderman Taylor?
Before we rush into that, in the city bylaws, the appointment process is clearly stated, and is not stated by the way you're asking for here with the 4 aldermen.
And what would you propose?
Well,
typically the mayor would appoint ad hoc committees. And I thought since this committee was going to be looking at council rules, it would be more appropriate that the council would choose their committee members.
First of all, we should have a discussion on what we want to change. The last time we had this, we changed that nothing can be handed out at the start of the meeting, and we know that that's been violated every meeting almost.
That's what this committee would do, would be looking at council
We've
rules.
already had a committee that did that. That was the 2008 committee that established those guidelines, which the administration here has violated ever since.
Alderman Taylor, we're going to appoint a committee, and if you don't like what they come up with, you can vote against it at that point.
That's what I'm saying here. We already had this discussion and a committee, so now we're having a committee for a committee. And then we don't abide by what we ask, what this body asks for.
That committee, the last protocol committee, changed the order of the agenda. It did not change any of those other rules.
Yes,
So
it did. The key
Okay,
there
we're
is
not gonna
not
argue.
handing out any information, Mayor.
Point of
That's all
order.
I'm stating is a fact.
Point of order, Alderman Taylor. We're appointing a ad hoc committee at this point. And do we have nominations for the committee? Alderman Zielinski?
I just have a question about
Sure.
it. Could he, because Benner proposed it, could he get some explanation on it, like what he intends on doing with it?
Sure, definitely. Alderman Benner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, this kind of came up in a little bit different approach. I had talked to the mayor and the attorney and the clerk about some of the challenges we've been having at our meetings with questioning basically our protocol and really what's there. And so through that dialogue over the past several months, the mayor brought to my attention, and I recall it, that in 2008 we did have this committee, as Alderman Taylor mentioned. And so he brought up the fact that maybe it's just best if we just create a committee, we sit down, we talk about what it seems like the common and logical protocol would be for how we conduct business at the council. And my only mindset was that we get it better defined, and so that we have a process going forward of how we resolve differences of opinions up here, rather than getting into what should be just good logical debate where it turns into arguments, and nobody ever wins an argument. I'm a firm believer of that. You know, people can come to consensus even if it's a matter of being able to agree to disagree and know how to go forward. And part of what this protocol committee would be just to know how to go forward when we agree to disagree. It's just to apply some logic to what we do and just to keep things more friendly, more common sense, more professional, so we express ourselves in a professional manner. We're elected officials, and we're supposed to be the leaders of the community, and we should be conducting ourselves in that fashion. And if there's question as to how we're doing it, we should be able to discuss that in committee and decide what the proper way to go forward is. That's all that this is, and it's just a matter of folks to sit down and say, we've had this discussion, we've had these challenges, let's figure out how to work our way through them, rather than turning everything into an ordinance. And that was one of the things that I talked about, was to possibly add an ordinance or something like that in order to make it a little bit more firm. And the mayor suggested that we go back to this protocol committee as we had and just put it in a better, more friendly, more professional manner so that everybody just understands what the protocol is. It's difficult, especially for a new alderman coming in, to understand what that protocol might be, and it's a good opportunity to learn it. And, you know, like with Alderman Kramer, like I see a huge improvement in him in the last year, how he's run meetings, and he was thrown into basically an uncomfortable situation as a committee chair, never run public meetings before, and then sitting here in front of us and then having to run one. And part of that is that everybody gets more involved in the process, embraces the process, knows what it is, and if they have any questions, they can refer to the protocol committee about how something could be. You can put something on, make a motion to postpone and take a protocol and talk about it, rather than having what is argumentative debate. You know, to have a point of order called, to me, is a pretty harsh thing to have happen. But if point of order is called, you need to stop whatever dialogue it is and address the point of order. You can't just continue talking and going on and on and on, pretending like it didn't happen, because it did happen, and it's a legal process of what we do. And it has to be respected, and everybody that sits up here has to respect the rules and the protocol about how we conduct a public meeting. And that's what this was about. This was a kinder and gentler way of getting to where we needed to be. And it's just more or less informing everybody of what the protocol is and how we go forward. That's all that this is. It's nothing other than that. And it's an easier way of doing it rather than creating ordinances and saying thou shalt. It just creates a better guideline of how we conduct business up here. That's my opinion of how we got to where we are. Thank you.
Alderman Taylor?
This body has the Robert's Rules of Order. They're very clear. Point of orders are part of Robert's Rules of Order. It gives you the opportunity, if the parliamentarian does that properly, which usually isn't done. So it's not only aldermen up here, Alderman Benner, it's the administration too. It's the city attorney. We know the favoritism, how it stands up here. And I don't think you're going to clear that up by having a meeting until this administration can see things down the middle. It's not going to clear up. The minority in this community was thrown under the bus last year by your ordinance, by not having the minority to have a voice. And Robert's Rules of Order states all that. We already have that. So I don't know if it's going to be somebody else's rules of order, but we already have that up here. And if you don't like the debate, and if you don't like facts, maybe the people are in the wrong business.
So we have two things we can do tonight. Either we can appoint this committee, or if someone wishes to table it because they don't think we need it, we could also do that, and we could move forward and operate the way we have been. But tonight is not the night to debate, is this good, what is it going to do? That's what's going to happen within that committee. Did you have a question, Alex? Or?
Yeah, I would asking if I could make the motion that if we're gonna have something like this, could we have all 8 aldermen on it, because it's already a quorum with 4. So why can't we have all of us on it to discuss it if we want to go to it and get things done, and we want to everybody open discussion on that instance? I don't know if I could make that motion or.
It's not on the agenda that way,
So-
but you could make a motion to table it. We could bring it back that way.
Yeah, I'd like to
potentially.
make the motion to table it.
So, There's a motion and a second to table the appointment of a protocol committee. Arnie, did you want to discuss tabling it, or
I'd just like to make a comment.
it needs to be about the motion at this point, unfortunately. So,
Okay, then I'll wait.
okay. Then I need you to turn off your light, though. Is there any discussion about tabling the appointment of the committee? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 5-3.
Item C has been tabled. Item 2 is the mayor's appointments. There are 6 of them. We could take them up individually or as a group. What is the pleasure of the council? Okay. So if one of you wants to make that motion. Alderman Benner,
Did you want a motion just to take it up as a group, or just make a motion to approve all of them?
make a motion and then list them.
I can do that. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the mayor's appointments of Alderman Zelinski to the Park and Rec Board for a term of 1 year, effective immediately. Of Alderman Spencer to the Landmarks Commission for 1 year term, effective immediately. Approval of Alderman Krautkramer to the Menasha Fire Rescue Joint Personnel and Finance Committee for a 1 year term, effective immediately. Alderman Collier to the Heckrot Wetland Reserve Board for a 1 year term, effective immediately. Appointment of Greg Kyle to the Board of Review for the term of April 20th, 2016 to July 1, 2020. The appointment of Tom Stoffel as an alternate to the Board of Review.
There's a motion, a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
Item P is public comments on any matter listed on the agenda. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak at this point? Seeing no one, do we have a motion to adjourn? There's a motion, a second. All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. And for those of you in the public, we also do have a social at 5 o'clock somewhere tonight. You're welcome to come over and join us for that. We have some food and beverages are on your own. Thank you very much for coming this evening.
Broadcasts of the City of Menasha Administration Committee, Board of Public Works, and Common Council meetings are produced by University Studios of the University of Wisconsin-Fox Valley. Menasha residents and interested parties can obtain information about these meetings and meeting agendas from the city website, www.cityofmenasha-wi.gov. Expression of opinions regarding City of Menasha issues or about these broadcasts can be made by contacting the Mayor's Office, 920-967-5117. Contacting their city alderman. Contact information appears on the website. Completing the electronic feedback form on the website. All public portions of the meetings are recorded in entirety and are not edited for playback.